All right, now I'm gonna paint these big trees here in the foreground. So I mixed up some yellow. Now I want this color to be not transparent. I want it to be pretty opaque to cover these trees and for them to really kind of stand out. So when my yellow paint was very, I got it has to be, to get those deep colors, those more opaque colors, you have to have your paints very softened. So you can see, if I dip this in here, you can see there's a lot of pigment in there. Okay, so I have this very thick kind of pigment. It's runny, but there's a lot of, not so much water. It's not diluted as much, and you kind of, get it by feel. So I'm gonna put that in here. I'm gonna mix up. I'm gonna start with a kind of a lighter yellowish green to get the sun, right where the sun is, because this side's in shadow, but the sun's kind of hitting the top of that. So I'll move that into here. I'll grab some of my blue. Start to get some of that thick yellowish green color. I'm going to add just a touch of burnt sienna, maybe tone it down a little bit. Okay. All right, and I'm going to start with that, and I'm going to paint right over this. And I'm using I'll leave some of those sky holes in there. It's kind of thicker up here, break it up. But you can see how even this lighter color covers that, because the paint is nice and thick. And these trees are a little bit darker, so I'm not going to go way out there with this. Yeah, I suppose I can a little bit. I'll still cover it. Okay. Bring the bottom of those trees down into here. All right. Now this is so thick, it's not going to be, this isn't going to be so much of a wet on wet. It's going to be more of a wet on dry. Mix up some darker colors, get some of that in here as well. But again, I'm kind of doing this sort of rough texture, scumbling it over. Now I'm going to now I'll get my darker values in here. I need just a touch of water. It's getting a little too dry, not too much. Get these colors a little bit darker, deeper. Get some of my burnt sienna in there, dull those colors as you move into the shadows. It's going to be a little bit duller. Okay, a little bit of that. I think I can go even darker now. Maybe I'll add a little bit of burnt sienna. I'm sorry, burnt umber. Okay, and I will scumble this in here over top of that. Get these trees coming in, get these layers, get this in shadow, and I'll probably go up. Oh, I got that blue on there, that's all right. I'll just kind of work that in. And I'm gonna need to go deeper still. All right, a lot more blue, a lot more brown. Get it nice and deep and dark. See, I'm having one trouble with my brown, getting it nice and dark. Okay, let's get these. I'm gonna probably bring in my round brush too in here. I might get my, for the smaller textures, get my small round. Get it drier. Let's get some deep colors in here a little bit. Okay. Up in here, shadow. A lot of this side of the tree is really dark shadow. All right. Darker broken edges here. All right. I wish I could get just a touch darker. Maybe that'll do it. All right, probably worrying about it too much now. All right. Add some branches. Okay, so now what I need to do is I'm gonna do my shadows on the grass here. And add a little bit of water. Lots of blue, I think, for that. And what we're gonna do is I'm gonna kind of scumble that across to kind of, so I get that grass texture. Kind of something pull and then kind of flick up. Okay, initially I can kind of just paint some of that under there. I'm gonna let a little bit of the light coming through on the other side of the trees, still keep that there if I can. And so kind of underneath the trees in here, just kind of paint it like this initially, kind of horizontal lines. I don't have as much space as my format's a little bit different. Now I'm going to go to this direction. Oh. Try to brush that shadow out into the landscape there. Could even add, dry brush some texture even into the, maybe a little bit more texture into the foreground here, some roughness. Kind of scrub that up and down maybe a little bit. The side of my brush to kind of sort of, and then I'll deepen and I'll go back in and maybe just add a touch of, in the center of that, go a little bit darker. Just kind of deepen it at the heart of it. Almost want to blur that with a little bit of water. I may take, whoops, just a little bit of water. Soften that edge a little bit, that bottom edge. I just wanted to soften it. So I just took some clean water, washed my brush out, got rid of the excess, and just took a little water while that was still moist and sort of blurred that out a little bit. That was a little bit too hard edged underneath there. I could probably do it under the tree a little bit too, maybe. Seems like I need some shadow, like not quite so dark on the other side. there. You just have to be careful when you do that, and you kind of fade it out really dry, like fade out the water. All right, last step I think is just painting in some tree trunks. Okay, I'll get kind of a grayish, nice, and it's got to be nice and dark. I don't know if this is, I'm gonna have to let this dry first.